the atmosphere. So as of right now, I have on our shear product. So what does shear do? So what shear provides us with a good kind of remedy of what's rotating in the atmosphere. It's usually a blue dot. So if I zoom in down here in Holmes County and take it back, let's say the past 2 hours, you'll be able to see that there is a little bit of shear that's kind of boom, just kind of going through just a little bit north over in Ashland County. So as of right now, what I feel as though is happening is we do have radar that is likely picking up on the chance that there could be a little bit of rotation that's happening. It's very broad, at least at this point. So with our surface winds a bit more coming in from the south, we have our mid-level winds coming in from the southwest. That frontal boundary is going to swing through over the next 24 hours to 36 hours, and that's going to be a northwest wind. But I think what's happening here is what is radar is it's a bit far because again, our radar beam is at Cleveland Hopkins Airport. It is a bit far out right now, but what it is telling is that there could be likely a funnel cloud extending from the base of the cloud, but not touching the ground. So they still do have the possibility that there could be a tornado warning associated with that. On top of that, what we've been picking up on as well for this evening is heavy rainfall, and heavy rainfall coming down in buckets in some areas. But you can see as I stop this right now, there is a bit of some dry weather that is moving in after that. So that is what's going to take us into the rest of the evening here until we get to that point where the dry air moves through across northeast Ohio in full effect. We're still going to be dealing with lots of heavy rain as well. So let me take off radar for you at this point. I'll take off lightning, I'll take off the radar, and you can see where these warnings are popping up. The first of which will go down to Tuscarawas and also Carroll County, where you can see there's severe thunderstorm warning extending through about 9:30 for this evening here. So a little bit less than about 45 minutes from now. Over to the left of that, or I should say to the west of that, since we're talking about a map, you have, let me query this up for you. You have this purple box, which is that tornado warning, okay? It is indicating that radar has picked up, as I said before, that there is a possibility for some rotation within this thunderstorm system. So it is outside of the metro, outside of the Akron metro, outside of the Canton metro, and certainly well outside of the Cleveland metro. This is not expected to move north into the area. So it is not expected to move into Summit County nor Cuyahoga County. So we don't have to worry about that per se here. But for our viewers down in Tuscarawas and Carroll County, certainly in Holmes County, this is the time where you have to make sure that you're providing yourself with a safe place in the interior of your home, far from the exterior of your home, and certainly windows. This is not an opportunity to go outside and kind of take a peek and see what's happening. The green boxes, I will query those for you. Those are indicative of flood advisory. So this is why we've had so much rainfall prompting this flood advisory through about 10:30. If you joined us during our 6 p.m. broadcast, this is one of the threats that I mentioned, that we could be having some heavier rain that could be leading to some flash flooding in some of the areas. So once we, now that we've kind of talked about what these warnings look like, let's put back up with the radar and see what that looks like as well. I'll take these warnings right back off of here. All right, there you see there, again, a line of thunderstorm activity extending south across the region, almost like crisscrossing through northeast Ohio. There you go. This is a very confined line of thunderstorm activity, and it is likely to stay that way through the next over the next hour or so before it clears, and we have that dry patch that is moving through. So once we talk about the rainfall, we have to talk about the hail possibility as well, because certainly when you get some severe thunderstorms moving through the area, hail is always, if not also, often associated with that as well. So as I pull up hail, you can see kind of where those cores may have been within this thunderstorm activity. Most of the hail cores have been south of the area, which is great. But for Tuscarawas County at this point, just between Stone Creek and also New Philadelphia, that's where we're picking up some of the hail query right now. It's roughly about a ½ inch of hail size. Though that may seem small to you, that can certainly provide some issues, certainly for cars that are outside of a garage, certainly for window panes, certainly sunroofs in your vehicle, as well as skylights in your home. That could definitely be an issue for you there. Once you get strong updrafts, you get these cold tops in the top of the clouds, it cools, it condenses, and it also becomes encased in the heavier rainfall. As the raindrops fall, they get lofted back up with the strong updrafts. If they're too heavy, that's when they descend to the ground, and that's when you get hail descending all the way to the ground as well. So heavy rainfall, again, remembering, bearing in mind those flood advisories. hail, as well as this tornado warning. So let's go back over and focus on Holmes County at this point, okay? I'll take the hail core contour off so you can see that as well. Let's zoom on in here and let's talk about velocity. Green indicating toward the radar, red indicating away from the radar. So you can already see here at this point that we have a pretty good chunk of toward and also away from the radar. This is between Millersburg and also Walnut Creek at this hour. This is the area that we're going to be watching, certainly as this storm system is progressing over towards the east. As of right now, this storm system is not moving too terribly fast, which is leading to some of the flood concerns in this area, as well as could be leading to some issues there. Certainly, if there is a possibility that a tornado could be on the ground, certainly with you saying tornado, that indicates that it has in fact touched the ground. But no reports out of them now have come in this area. So if you know anyone that is south of this area, perhaps down in Tuscarawas County, perhaps down even into Holmes County, just give them a buzz and say, hey, have you heard anything that's going on? Have you had any reports? Does anybody text you to see if there's anything trending in this area? Certainly the south corridor, south of Canton, getting down to New Philadelphia, certainly getting north of Farmerstown, Bucks, Walnut Creek, Millersburg, and also Clark. These are the areas that we're going to be watching, certainly while this warning is in effect down in this area. Again, bearing in mind, green equals towards, red equals away from the radar. That's when we start to really talk about what's happening with the atmosphere. Normally you get a line of thunderstorms coming through, as I'll show you here on our radar. As I said before, you have a pretty much fine line of thunderstorms that are happening here. You normally get straight line winds or gusty winds that are associated with this line of storms that is coming through the region. What's happening in this area is we have differing of wind speeds as well as directional winds in this area. You have your south wind coming in, your mid-level wind coming in. These are conversing winds that are contradicting one another, which could indicate that we do have some rotation happening horizontally in the atmosphere. Certainly when we get a strong thunderstorm, as we were talking about with the hail cores, you get strong updrafts. Those rotating storms can get lofted up in this updraft, and that's when you start to get some vertical rotation that is happening, which likely could be happening down in this area as well. So let's go back and focus on radar at this point. You can see we do have those oranges and also that purple box, and we also have that green box. 3 different warnings now in effect for this area. Tuscarawas County, also Carroll County, under a severe thunderstorm warning. We have portions of Holmes County as well as just a little bit of sliver of Carroll County that is likely also underneath that severe thunderstorm warning. As of right now, literally at this point, 8:53, National Weather Service has since canceled that tornado warning, which is great news for our friends there. But bear in mind, while that severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect, you also still need to make sure that you're taking the safe precautions as well. We'll keep watching this. We'll rejoin you with that scheduled broadcast that's in effect right now. And of course, you can get the very latest on the 3 News app and of course, digitally. We rejoin you with the broadcast.